2-2 to Ben Revere. And the pitch. Ground ball right side. Here comes Galvis. It's voted by Freddie Freeman. The Phillies win the game. The best defensive team in the National League has committed 4 errors on the night, and the Phillies walk off with a 1-0 victory here in the bottom of the 9th inning. You want to come to a ball game on a Saturday night here in Philadelphia? You never know what you're going to see. Tonight, the Philadelphia Science Festival, brought to you by Dow. I mean, who would have thought you'd come to the yard and see a turkey here in Philadelphia? A lot of things going on the concourse tonight. The Phils and the Braves get set for Game 2 of a 3-game series. Hi, everyone. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Matt Stairs and Mike Schmidt. We get set for Game 2 between the Phils and the Atlanta Braves off the heels of last night's 9th inning victory by the Phillies. Not a whole lot of offense, but they still got it done last night.
That's right. Opportunist, small ball. Did a lot of good things there in the bottom of the 9th inning. Freddie lines a single. Freddie Galvis now hitting .347 after this single. Lines a single on a curveball up the middle. Cesar Hernandez, you see him right here, laying down a perfect sacrifice bunt. Freddie's on second now. Freddie does some good base running here. Gets a good secondary lead. Boom, he's off to third base. Good jump, makes it on a good throw. You know, it was very close play, but you got to take a chance like that. Nothing to nothing ball game in scoring position. He's going on contact. There's the ground ball, makes contact. Freddie Freeman misses it. Phillies win. Small ball victory.
Small ball has been talked about for the last couple weeks here in Philadelphia, and last night it produced a victory. We'll see if the Phil's offense can turn the page tonight and get a little more going, Matt, against Shelby Miller, pretty tough customer.
Miller, tremendous arm, throws the ball about 96, 97 miles an hour. He used to be just a guy who used to go out there and throw the ball as hard as he can. Now he's a pitcher. He goes out there and he works down the zone. He has a very good fastball, a very good cutter. But the one pitch he's been working on is a two-seam fastball. He used to be 100% four-seamer. Now he's about 50-50 with the four-seamer and the two-seamer. He can backdoor that cutter when he needs to. Very good arm, very good pickup for the Atlanta Braves.
One of the things that he learned with the St. Louis Cardinals, thanks to Justin Masterson, is that sinker that has helped his cause. He said it will make him an elite pitcher someday. So it's start number 4 for him, start number 4 for David Buchanan, who's trying to bring that ERA down and give the Phils another victory. Lineups at first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. One deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. By Toyota, where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Matchup against the Atlanta Braves after winning last night's ball game 1-0. Let's take a look at the Atlanta Braves starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. It'll be Markakis, Simmons, and Freeman followed by A.J. Pierzynski, Johnny Gomes, and Kelly Johnson starting at third base. And the bottom third of Peterson, Eric Young Jr., and Shelby Miller. They'll face Phillies right-hander David Buchanan, 0-3 on the year, with an earned run average of 9.22. Matt, I think the thing that stands out the most is the 31 base runners in just 13 2/3 innings so far for David Buchanan.
Yeah, and the 9 walks really jumps out to you when you see that. I mean, going into spring training, leaving spring training, he didn't walk a batter. He just really needs to get out there and pound the strike zone. And as you can see, the scouting report, 90 to 92 mile an hour fastball, cutter change curve. He's 0-1 with a 4 ERA in 2014 versus the Braves.
This is his hometown team. He grew up in the Atlanta area in Peachtree City, Georgia. Let's take a look at the keys brought to you by Nissan.
Well, the first key for me is David Buchanan to stay away from that one big inning.
Yeah, and for me, Tommy, it's step on them while they're down. Not that we're having a great year here in Philly, but the Braves started off 5-0, and I think it's 3-8 in their last 11 ball games. So they're down right now. We didn't see a very good defensive game out of them last night. So let's get them while they're down.
Nick Markakis swings at the first pitch out toward right center field. Herrera tracks it down. One away on one pitch here in the first.
Well, you got to have your legs loose, don't you, Matt? Start a ball game. You got to run that far and that fast for the first contact of the game. It came your way, man. You got to be ready.
Wow, these kids are young. You can see this jump he had right here. He's playing left center, gets a tremendous jump. Makes a hard play look very easily.
Well, we talked about his defense, how good it's been. Aside from that ball the other night, he's really established himself in center field. He plays a deep center field, but he's really established himself in center field.
I think I mentioned it earlier at a broadcast the last time I was here. We talked about him in the opening, and he was a second baseman, middle infielder his whole life, and had only had maybe 10 or 11 games played in the outfield prior to this spring training.
You wouldn't know it by looking at him. No. 1 ball, 1 strike to Andrelton Simmons, 8 for 25 on the year. He was 0 for 3 in last night's ball game. And he hits that foul. It's 1-2. Simmons will be followed by Freddie Freeman. You look at those two guys, they're the only two guys in tonight's starting lineup that were part of the Braves last year. Swing and a miss. Boy, that was a good breaking ball. 77 miles an hour. 2 outs here in the first.
Two organizations going through similar times here.
Great command. Top to bottom, 12-6 curveball. And now Freddie Freeman. Freeman hitting .233 with 4 home runs. And he pops that one in the air to shallow right center field. Francoeur says he has it. How about a 6-pitch first inning for David Buchanan? That's a nice way to start the ball game. 1, 2, 3 go the Braves. On to the bottom of the first. It's the Braves nothing and the Phillies coming up. The Phils. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. It'll be Revere, then Odubel Herrera, then Chase Utley batting third. Jeff Francoeur bats cleanup. Ryan Howard hits 5th. Cody Ashley 6th. And the bottom third of Ruiz, Galvis, and David Buchanan. And they'll face 24-year-old right-hander. Yeah, he's just 24. Shelby Miller, 28 career wins. So far, so good for him, although he hasn't gone deep into games. He's only reached the 6th inning once in his 3 starts, Matt. 11 strikeouts in those 16 innings of work.
Yeah, and last year he pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals. Came over in the trade with Jason Hayward last year. He's a guy who has a very good fastball, as you see, 96 miles an hour, curve cutter. 1-1 with a 3.38 ERA versus the Phillies. But one thing he's been working on, and Tom, you mentioned in the open, is how good his sinker is and what he's been working on.
Yeah, Justin Masterson, who's now pitching for the Red Sox, was one of his teammates in St. Louis the second half of last year. He taught him how to grip that sinker. First pitch is over. It's 0-1.
Which is kind of interesting because Masterson's a 3-quarter pitcher. So, of course, he's going to get the natural sink with the sinker baller.
Rivera was 0 for 5 last night, but he was on base because of 2 errors. And the first ball he hits tonight goes right at Peterson, and there's 1 out.
Tommy, you mentioned Phillies lineup. They've used 13 different lineups this year. They've only had the same lineup back-to-back nights twice.
Amazing.
The whole year.
Well, I guess that's an indication of how much the offense has struggled. He's trying to find those combinations that fit. And you can't blame him for that. He's just trying to find the right combinations to produce some runs.
It's one of the great luxuries that a manager has on a really, really good ball club. I mean, he can darn near put the same lineup out there every day.
Here's Odubel Herrera, and he takes a pitch low, 1-0.
Hitters start to know their role in the slot they are in the batting order. They feel comfortable there.
Is that a big deal for a hitter?
Well, I think it is. I mean, I hit 3rd, I hit 4th later in my career. I was all over the batting order earlier in my career, but kind of knew I was either going to be 3rd or 4th, and knew who I had behind me. I knew how much the opposition respected Greg Luzinski, Bake McBride, Dick Allen, whoever it was at the time, and gives you some sense of what to expect as a hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike to Herrera. Overall hitting .288, no homers and 3 RBIs. Ground ball left side, backhanded by Simmons. High throw, and there's the first error of the night. After making 4 last night, and Herrera will get second base.
Tommy, I think, Matt, I thought he kind of lollygagged that ball a little bit. He kind of came in nice and slow. He actually was lucky to catch that ball. You saw the backhand short hop, or an in-between hop. If you watch his ball right here. Now watch, this is a backhand in-between hop. He was lucky to catch it. And Herrera, with good hustle, makes it a tough play. Throws a little bit. I see Freddie's not too happy right there in the dugout.
That should be a hit and an error, because I don't think they would have had him if it was a good throw.
He was busting up the line.
He was.
They have scored it a hit and an error. So an infield hit and an E6. So the Phils have a runner in scoring position. Chase Utley's the batter, and Utley takes a strike. It's 0-1.
There's no excuse for that. The shortstop needs to hustle, circle it, catch it in front of him, and throw him out. Boom.
Particularly with a guy with an arm like that.
Yeah, Simmons is too good an athlete to play that ball like that.
Utley last night 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. A little low, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Christine Blade of Croydon. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game. Then Christine will win $300. Chase's 4 hits and 9 at-bats lifetime against Shelby Miller, who is 1-1 against the Phils during his career. Off the hands, out toward shallow center. Simmons says he has it, and he does.
Isn't that funny? What a game! I can just feel sitting at the next to the dugout in spring training, watching him hit 4 straight home runs. I mean, he was locked in spring training, Matt. Isn't it amazing?
It's amazing how quick you can lose your swing for a short period of time. He's had spurts on the road trip. He's won the bat pretty good. Just didn't have any knocks to show for it.
Oh, no question. I watched on TV, and he had the big game against in New York, and then stung the ball 4 or 5 times, I think, in Washington.
Yep.
Right at him. Every time he hits the ball, it's right at an outfielder. And then he went cold.
Jeff Francoeur, a .227 hitter, 1 for 4 last night with a base hit. I should say with a single. Breaks his bat, slow roller toward third. Kelly Johnson, he's got it on the grass. And he took his time. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. There was 1 man left, 1 error by the Braves. On to the second in a scoreless game. Is available through Phillies Vacations. Go to Phillies.com/Phillies Vacations or call 877-833-7326. 4 nights accommodations, tour of Petco Park, brunch with us announcers, and a custom Phillies road trip polo shirt. Those trips are always a lot of fun, and San Diego is a great city to go to. A.J. Pierzynski lines one out to center field right at Odubel Herrera. And 1 out. So 3 fly ball outs so far for David Buchanan. Johnny Gomes is coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Well, a good start for David Buchanan. That's exactly what Ryan Sandberg was hoping he'd see out of his starter today. He wants to see David Buchanan start to pitch with a little bit more confidence, and he said, kind of stay within himself. He's really been a victim of 1 bad inning in each of his first 3 starts. There you see it again, the 3rd inning. He had 6 runs and 5 hits in that first outing against Boston, then the 3 runs against the Mets and 3 runs again against the Nationals. 1 bad inning, and it hasn't always been laser line drives and long balls that have been David Buchanan's problem. A couple bloops that have fallen in, and all of a sudden things start to unravel. And I talked to David a little bit about that, and he said that's what he's got to stop. Once things start to go a little awry, he needs to be a little bit more focused and make his pitches and get out of the inning. That's something he hasn't been able to do so far this season. It's something we saw him do very often last season and in the spring as well. So that's what he's hoping to work on tonight, guys.
Yeah, it's interesting, Murph. Every single start there seems to be 1 or 2 issues that really bite him, whether it be the walks, whether it be deep counts, whether it be the fastball not moving or the cutter moving too much. And this is after a stellar spring, where he was arguably the best pitcher the Phillies had in spring training. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Johnny Gomes. So for his last 7, swing and a miss. He's mixing and matching pretty well so far.
Well, he is, and you're allowed to do that when you throw first pitch strikes. You get ahead in the hitter, and then all of a sudden you can start throwing the curveball. You can start nibbling. You can see right here, great changeup. I mean, I've never seen a changeup. That's like the
Vulcan.
The Vulcan.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it last year, where you have it deep in between the middle 2 fingers.
I would think that's a tough one to command if you throw it like that.
Wow. The Vulcan changeup.
Vulcan changeup. Yeah. Kelly Johnson, no balls and 1 strike to him. Make it 0-2.
I think Turkey Hill should make an ice cream named after that.
The Vulcan changeup.
The Vulcan changeup.
Out of play. 2 strikes to Johnson, who is hitting 185 in his second tour of duty with the Atlanta Braves.
Interesting lineup Freddie Gonzalez has put together here. Sort of like the Little League down the street where they put all the guys with the highest average hit first, second, third, and fourth, and then
everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, that was his thought. 6 up, 6 down for David Buchanan. 10 pitches, so 16 through the first 2 innings. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Ryan Howard will lead things off. She was busy today at the ballpark. He and his wife Angela were at the Majestic Clubhouse store where Cody was signing autographs and taking pictures to help promote the sale of that new T-shirt. It's a T-shirt that Cody designed, and all proceeds for the sale of that T-shirt, which says "Together We Fight," will go toward the ALS Association of Greater Philadelphia chapter. Pretty good amount of folks that came out to get Cody Ashley's autograph and to meet his wife Angela. And if you want to purchase that T-shirt, you can go to Phillies.com. It is on sale as we speak. Ryan Howard leads things off, and Howard takes low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Can you buy these shirts in the stores here?
I believe you can.
Good.
They retail for $24.99. It's a 47 brand flanker tee, just to get the description proper. That's what it says on the website. 100% ring spun cotton.
Oh, okay.
If that means anything to you guys. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike to Howard. So at a Major League scoreboard, the Marlins shut out the Nationals 8-0. 4th straight loss for the Nats.
4th straight wins for the Marlins. It's
true.
We got them heated up a little bit here at Citizens Bank Park the last 2 games.
We watched a lot of that game. The Nationals looked like they were kicking the ball around again. They've now surpassed the Phillies for the most errors in the National League and in Major League Baseball. Outside, ball 4. So a walk to Ryan Howard.
So the Washington still has the most errors, or is it Oakland? Oakland had
you know what?
Oakland had 19 going into today.
I think they're tied now. Yeah.
I get a kick out of Freddie Freeman. He carries on a conversation with every base runner that comes down there.
I think it has to be the personality of the first baseman.
Well, he doesn't know anyone else on the team anymore. He's got so many new players.
Ashley takes a strike. It's 0-1. Well, it was the Atlanta Braves this year. Yeah, he's still chatting with him.
Come on, Ryan. Keep an eye on Coach McCannon over there. He might get the steal sign.
Out toward left field. Johnny Gomes ventures back and makes the catch. Well, it always goes to the question of, who was the chattiest first baseman of all time. I've always heard Jim Thome was the chattiest first baseman of all time, or Sean Casey.
Sean Casey, the mayor by far.
There they are. They're still what you doing after the game? How's the family? Sammy, how are you, man? Come on in here.
Jason Giambi was pretty good too.
Was he?
He talked a lot.
That was one of the fun things about playing first. I played it for a half a year, and I'll tell you what, you stay loose over there
and talk about anything and everything. Carlos takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Unless they have the microphones underneath the bases.
Then you don't say anything.
Then you be careful.
I'll tell you what's fun is when a pitcher comes down there, he gets a base hit or he walks, and it's a guy pitching against you, and you try to drum up a conversation with the guy. And if he will talk to you, it's the greatest. You know what I mean? It's the greatest thing. How you doing, man? You throwing good tonight? Yeah. Wow, that's a hell of a pitch. You struck me out on that. Wow.
What are you going to throw me next time?
And if he just doesn't look at you, you go, "Ooh, man, what's this guy thinking?"
Outside, 1-2. There was a story, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody was very chatty, and a player went over and basically told him, "Listen, before I even get here, shut up, stop talking." It may have been a catcher that was too chatty.
The late Gary Carter used to be that way with me. How's the family? How's Donna? How the kids doing?
Down the right field line. If Marquez into foul territory. Oh, what a catch as he slams into the wall. Yeah, there are 2 outs. You know what? I think it was Gary Carter. It wasn't you that told me the story, but there was somebody who said it was Gary Carter when they used to go up to the plate. They finally said, before he dug in, he said, "Gary, I don't want to hear anything today."
That was it. As Chooch had another tough at bat, and poor Chooch, seems like he's 0-2 at 1-2 every time he walks up there. Pitcher's getting ahead of him. Like to see him get a little more aggressive early in the count.
I would, and I find a little bit that his upper body is leaning over home plate a little too much. He wants to look like he wants to pull the trigger, and he can't, and when he does, he has to do that little loop swing.
Galvis slices it foul down the left field line. It's 0-1. Freddie 3 hits last night and the game-winning run. Hitting .345, on base percentage at .400.
Right on schedule.
Just what you talked to him about. Way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, of course, he's a real bright spot for the club so far. Obviously, baseball's a test of time, test of consistency. Just take them 1 game at a time, 1 at bat at a time.
Chopper out to shortstop. Few hops for Simmons. He'll just take it to the bag, and the inning is over. Phillies have had a base runner in each inning so far. We've completed 2. On to the 3rd. It's the Phillies nothing and the Braves nothing. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, guys, the question is, who did the Braves play in the first ever wild card game in 2012? Answer will be revealed a little later on. There was always a wild card team, but then the wild card teams were invited to play. Here's Jace Peterson to start things off. Takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. All right, Matt, so that's 5 of 7 first pitch strikes for David Buchanan. Out of play, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Peterson's one of those new guys for the Braves. You know, the Braves during spring training gave out T-shirts. They're basic T-shirts, but they had a logo on the chest of those T-shirts. It basically had a symbol saying, "Hi, my name is blank," and you filled in the blank with your name because there's so many newcomers. Hungry for more Philly sports? Then wake up with Rob Ellis, Jillian Mealy, Barrett Brooks, and Sarah Baker on Breakfast on Broad, presented by Virtua Joint Replacement Institute. Weekday mornings from 6 until 8 over on the Comcast Network and streaming live on breakfastonbroad.com. Eric Young Jr. led off last night, now batting 8th tonight, hitting just 174. Well, he's got that curveball working these first few innings. That was a changeup there.
I mean, Schmitty, I don't know if you know, but have you ever seen a team? On this play by Chooch. Have you ever seen a team that did that many transactions in the offseason? I mean, they had over 20 easily. The Atlanta Braves. They probably had 10. They probably had 10 or 11 guys leave, brought in 10 or 11 new faces.
You know, and everybody, you know, asked me, well, what are the Phillies going to do? What are the Phillies going to do? And Phillies were kind of accused of being kind of caught in between. They're, you know, are you going to retool? Are you going to totally go in the other direction? Like the Braves are doing. You know, they just clean house, so to speak.
But it's funny when a team revamps their lineup, they usually go with younger players. Well, I mean, Atlanta Braves, really, they brought in some veteran players. A.J. Brzezinski.
Johnny Gomes.
I mean,
Markakis.
Johnson's the same way.
Well, here's part of that list that Matt's talking about. They even got rid of some of the younger players like Tommy La Stella, who went to the Chicago Cubs. Miller is down on strikes. 3 strikeouts, 1 each inning for David Buchanan. 9 up, 9 down. We played 2.5 here in Philadelphia. We'll come back for the bottom of the 3rd right after this. Call 1-800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu and buy the Quality Plus Sports Stores. Go further. Home half of the third inning, along with Matt Stairs, Mike Schmidt, Greg Murphy. I'm Tom McCarthy. No score. Phillies have had a base runner in each inning so far against Shelby Miller, who is still out on the mound warming up. He made the last out in the top of the third inning. David Buchanan will lead things off. Well, who would have thought 3 years ago that we would be in this spot with the Phillies and the Braves, where we'd be wondering where the offense is going to come for both of these teams?
Yeah, the two best teams in the division 3 years ago, 4 years ago, battling it out every year. Amazing how things are cyclical in this sport. Let's hope 2 or 3 years from now we're right back to where we were.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you have two great franchises. I mean, really, two powerhouses for so many years. It's different. It really is. And I can just imagine how the fans will react towards certain things that are changing. Like you're so used to having, honestly, I think the Atlanta Braves fans got spoiled for so many years.
14 straight.
There's 14 straight years they're going. Can you imagine the paychecks every year, playoff-wise? But it's just they got spoiled because every year they were being taken for granted that they were going to make the playoffs. Now it's a revamp of the team.
And two real baseball veterans spearheading each operation. Pat Gillick for the Phillies and John Hart for the Atlanta Braves. 3-1 pitch to David Buchanan. Chopper up the third base line. Kelly Johnson around the bag. He throws him out.
Could be a very interesting free agent season coming up next offseason with both of these clubs. See how they retool, how they try to get back to the winning ways.
How quick they want to get back into it.
Well, that's just it. And both teams have farm systems that have players that are coming forward. The Phillies have all those pitchers in Double-A. They have Roman Quinn. They have a few guys at Lehigh Valley that they like a lot. J.P. Crawford is coming back from the oblique strain, but there are going to be some viable free agents in the offseason too. And Revere takes a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1.
You think in both cases that both organizations got kind of is hamstrung the right word? Got caught up in some maybe questionable long range, big contract signings.
Yeah, I think that's
the Upton situation.
Absolutely,
in Atlanta for sure.
Yeah, Justin Upton was probably a good pickup, whereas BJ was not a good signing.
Melvin,
I'm sorry. We'll get it right before we get to San Diego. No balls and 2 strikes. Then Revere grounded out to second. This time he grounds one to shortstop.
Well, in our case, obviously our first baseman's not really putting up numbers like he did back when he probably legitimately got that contract.
Sure.
He's had injuries and tailed off a little bit the last few years. But you got Cole, who's pitched well, but we lose Cliff Lee, who was one of those kind of signings. Roy Halladay retires. You can imagine if we still had all those players playing up to their capabilities, all the signings would all be the right ones to make.
Yeah, you can never project injuries. That's the hard part about all of this. When you're putting contracts together, it's not an easy thing. Last night, Cole Hamels and tomorrow's starter, Jerome Williams. 1 ball, 1 strike to Odubel Herrera. Cole will pitch again when the Phillies are in St. Louis. Out of play over the third base dugout, 1-2. So we had a Major League scoreboard. The Mets, who lost last night to end their winning streak, have won today 8-2. Matt Harvey 8 2/3. So I guess his knee is okay. He's now 4-0. Apparently had a bum knee in spring training that he aggravated in his last start. And Terry Collins said, "Hey, listen, we're thinking about missing you on this next start against the Yankees." He said, "No, you're not." And a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Well, that's the cutter that Matt was talking about during the open. 3 innings in the books. We'll head to the 4th here in Philadelphia. Pro X clocks in at 70 pages per minute. Get yours today for up to 50% off from who? But WB Mason.
Boys, I'm going to risk it and say it. Uh-oh, this one's moving right along.
We go to the 16th. It's just past 1 a.m. on the East Coast.
I said that last Saturday when I was the last Saturday broadcast, and the thing just slowed down like that and ended up going 10 innings.
Nick Markakis leads things off. One ball and no strikes to Markakis, who swung at the first pitch his first time up. Was retired on a nice play by Herrera, who now shades him over that way a little bit. Markakis led off most of the time last year for the Orioles, so this is not an oddity for him. His on-base percentage was a little more than .340 last year with the Orioles. Batting average a little more than .280. Just missed 2-1.
I find it interesting when you watch the defensive alignment, and Herrera in the first inning is playing left center, and then because of one baseball, I mean the first inning he was over here, he caught the ball over here, but all of a sudden now the second at bat, because he pulled the ball, now he's going to play him to pull.
It's like at Babe Ruth or high school when the coach will yell out to the center fielder, "Your way last time." Off to the right, so then they move off to the right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And then a chopper foul past Terry Pendleton in the first base coach's box. Markakis signed a 4-year deal this past offseason and has taken over not only Jason Hayward's number, but his position out in right field. Way inside, 3-2, the first 3-ball count of the night for David Buchanan. He hadn't been doing much of that, what we just saw as far as his pitch goes, and that's what he had been doing in his previous starts, kind of pulling that ball inside.
Shows the confidence that Chooch has right there in his changeup. Threw a 2-2 changeup really bad, and they came back with a very nice one.
Just a bit outside. First base runner of the night for the Braves. It's a leadoff walk here in the 4th. Simmons is coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, I hope you checked your calendar because it is Phillies social media night up here on the Budweiser rooftop. As you can see, I've got a big group from Radnor High School who hashtag Phillies social and got their special tickets on the website, and they are having all kinds of a good time. All the folks here got a free emoji t-shirt that you see here, the light blue t-shirt with the Fanatic on it, $12 in food and merchandise credit as well. This happens once a month here at the ballpark, so if you want to get involved, just go on to Phillies.com, hashtag Phillies social, and you can find out all the information you need. At this point, you probably can't see me, so I'll send it back to you. And do me a favor, tweet at me, guys, tonight. I would appreciate it.
All right, Murph. Hey, Murph, make sure you tell some of those kids that there is a science festival going on here at the ballpark if they want to get a little schoolwork in.
I will make sure I let them know about that, too, as the Phillies turn 2.
6-4-3 double play.
They also have a turkey down there as well.
Yeah, Murph, go find out why there's a turkey here at the ballpark, if you can.
And interview him.
Yes, no, I'm done interviewing animals at this point.
Mike, did you see Murph interviewing the owl the other night when we had an owl here? Yeah.
But I could see him under the Citizens Bank Park sign out there in center field.
Yeah, those shirts are really popping. They're like your old road uniforms.
Yep.
That color. Freddie Freeman takes a strike. It's 0-1. There they are. Murph's a man of the people. Murph got a t-shirt. Cody Ashe will take care of Freddie Freeman. 5-3 on the putout. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. Middle of the 4th inning. Let's see what Chase Utley, Jeff Francoeur. DelawareValleyHondaDealer.com. By W.B. Mason, you can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com today. Bottom of the fourth inning. Folks are preparing for tomorrow's Fanatic birthday celebration here at the ballpark. And as we begin the home fourth, Chase Utley, Jeff Francoeur, and Ryan Howard against Shelby Miller, who right now is locked into a heck of a pitcher's duel with David Buchanan. That'll be over, according to Mike Schmidt, in about a half hour. 0-1. You played behind Lefty. Lefty used to have fast games.
He did. No question. I'm marveling at the futility on both sides right here, right now. I know it's just a phase both of these teams are going through. But like Matty just said, we get some base run or two on there. We just throw a hit and run out there, get him moving.
Well, he fouls it away, and it remains 0-2. Chase popped out to shallow center his first time up.
Could be the weather. It's tough to play baseball when it's cold.
Last night I thought was by the end of the game. I mean, that was one of the colder days we've had. And Utley is struck out right on the outside part of the plate with that breaking pitch. 2 strikeouts for Shelby Miller. Well, it's time to take a look at our T-Mobile game changer. We were talking about errors in defense, but Nick Markakis out in right field has gone 342 consecutive games without an error. And he is only 50 games away from Darren Lewis. He's going to get tested right here. Francoeur shoots one down the right field line, and he's on his way to second base. Excuse me. So a stand-up double, second hit of the day for the Phils, but it's the first one that made it out to the outfield.
That's right. There we go. First pitch, shooting it over first base. You don't see that very often, Matt. But Francoeur reminds me of the Panda out there from San Francisco, now with the Red Sox. This guy lets it go no matter where it's at. Not a bad approach to hitting, right?
No, it's not, and I like the aggressiveness. And that base hit right there messed up a lot of scouting reports of how to play him on defense for now.
Second time this year he's done that.
Yep.
Poked it with 2 strikes earlier in the year. Last time we were here, or I was here.
Ryan Howard walked his first time up with 1 man down. Howard is very familiar with Shelby Miller. He's 3 for 5 lifetime against him with 2 home runs. And the interesting thing about it is that they both came last year. And of course, Miller, right-hander with the Cardinals. Howard hit that home run, and then 192 at-bats later hit another home run. Young gets turned around. It's over his head and into the bushes. He is familiar with them. A 2-run missile right out of the ballpark, and the Phillies take a 2-0 lead.
Well, there we go. Get those zeros off the scoreboard. Phillies have an unbelievably crazy good record when Ryan Howard homers.
It's like what we used to say about Jimmy Rollins when Jimmy Rollins would score a run, how good the Phillies were.
You know, that was a shot. Line drive. Watch this swing right here. Pow! Catches that one right. Straight away center field. That's where he likes it, Matt. Right down there by the knees.
Cody Ashley takes outside. Well, it makes a winner out of Christine Blade of Croydon. She just won $300 thanks to Ryan Howard in the McDonald's home run jackpot. Ashley chops one to second base, and Peterson throws him out 2 away.
Tom, I like your story about the home run.
Well, 192 at-bats between home runs against right-handers last year. It was when he faced Miller early in the year and when he faced him later on in the year. He had not had a home run against a right-hander between those 2 home runs. That's his 48th career home run against the Atlanta Braves. He does to the Braves what you used to do to the Cubs.
Well, in that at bat, I would think Miller is the kind of pitcher that would match up with Ryan's swing. You know what I mean? He's first 2 pitches low, down and in, keeping the ball down knee high in the strike zone. The guys that Ryan has trouble with are the guys that ride it up around the belt and, you know, the chest area, 95, 96 miles an hour. That's where he has trouble when the ball's up.
Kelly Johnson makes a fine play to retire Carlos Ruiz, but the Phillies get on the board. A double by Jeff Francoeur, and then after that, who needs a hit and run? All you have to do is get Ryan Howard to find a pitch where he likes it. He lines this one right into the bushes. Over 400 feet away, his 48th career home run against the Atlanta Braves. And the Phils are up 2-0. The Fanatic birthday celebration brought to you by Citizens Bank. All fans 14 and under will receive the Fanatic baseball socks tomorrow when they come to the ballpark. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. A.J. Pierzynski takes a little bit inside there. 1 ball, no strikes as we begin the top of the 5th. 2-0 Phillies. Pierzynski flied out to center his first time up. He fouls it back. It's 1-1.
David Buchanan gets to pitch with a lead. Huh?
Yeah, the Phillies haven't had many leads early in games. Ben Revere out toward left field. And there's one away.
Well, what's nice is that they didn't score a single run. They scored 2. They got a crooked number up on the board. Helps you relax a little bit knowing that you don't have to be picture perfect every time on every pitch that you throw, and it gives them a little breathing room right now. Now, even though it is only 2-0, don't change your approach. He's being aggressive right now in the strike zone. Stay there.
Well, he's being aggressive, and they are certainly being aggressive against him, which goes against what the teams have done in the previous games. But it's also what you talked about, Matt, that he's getting ahead now. He didn't get ahead of Gomes there, but he has been getting ahead more consistently. That one's pulled fair down the left field line, just kicked up some chalk. And Johnny Gomes will get to second base with the first hit of the night for the Atlanta Braves.
We stung that ball. I tell you, like you say, we had no hitter going up to that point. I didn't want to say anything about it. I don't think anybody wanted to mention it. This ball is boom, man, a half-inch fair. Look at it. Oh, right on the white
Boy,
line.
that is a great shot. Isn't that a great shot?
It is.
That's why they can review it, because they have shots like that if they want to. Kelly Johnson 0 for 1. Change up, and it's no balls and 1 strike.
But I will say this, though. I'm glad he got out in front of it a little bit because it was a hanging curveball and it probably should have been hit out of the ballpark.
Second double of the year for Gomes.
Smith, you liked that big old hanging curveball from right-handers, didn't you?
Yeah, in certain pitch counts from certain guys. I mean, there's some guys that threw a hanging curveball, and I was laying on my back, like Nolan Ryan or Simmons earlier when he threw the curveball to Simmons and he ducked. Sometimes some curveballs have a little more snap than others.
But when you get a hold of a hanging curveball, the quickness of reversing that spin, that's the reason why they go so far. And the hanging curveball it's pretty to hit. I mean, it's nice.
Over to the right side. Chase Utley stays down on it. Took a peek for a moment at Gomes, but there are 2 outs. Runner over at third.
All right, so the other day we had Stanton hit a home run in 3 seconds. You remember the fastest home run you ever hit? Like one stands
I never
out.
hit a fast one. Mine hung in the air for a long time. They timed mine
from bat
hang time.
With a calendar.
Hang time.
Yeah, mine were timed for other reasons. Boy, did that was a long fly ball. Golly, it took 8 seconds to drop in the flower bed. You know? No, I never hit one like Stanton did the other day. That was amazing.
Wheels said the other day. This is the home run. But Wheels said that Richie Allen hit.
Yeah, he was one of the guys who could do that. Yeah, somebody told me Richie Allen hit one through Seaver's legs and over center field one time.
That'd be kind of tough to do.
Seaver was a high hurdler, though. He can jump a little bit. But that one. Oof.
128 miles an hour that came off the bat.
Is that right?
Yes.
One and 2 to Jace Peterson. Two balls and 2 strikes. Apparently the highest point of that home run by Stanton was 35 feet off the ground. All the people with those charts and everything like that, they probably really got a kick out of that home run.
My take on it was one more slider and it wouldn't have happened.
Very good point.
Out toward right field, Francoeur is there, and he puts it away. See the body language by David Buchanan as that ball was hit, hoping that Francoeur was going to get there. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left over at third. Middle of the 5th inning, the Phils on top, 2-0. Quiz answer. All right, guys, who did the Braves play in the first ever wild card game in 2012?
Go ahead, Michael.
Well, I'm going to go with your call on this, and not mine. Matt had penciled down there under my Pirates, the St. Louis Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals is correct. Pirates.
Matt gets credit for that.
Pirates wouldn't have been a bad choice a year later as an opponent in the wild card. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Here's Freddie Galvis to lead it off. Galvis, a fielder's choice, his first time up.
Yeah, I find it an interesting conversation we had between innings there, and I think our fans would really get a kick out of knowing it if they don't already. And that's that there's some technology in the stadium now where they can track speeds of everything.
Track speeds of everything. I believe track the weather too. Everything that goes on here at the ballpark.
So that's how we know the speed of Stanton's home run the other day.
Yeah, they're basically tracking how fast a pitcher comes in as that ball is caught by Young, how fast a hitter walks to the plate. MLB has put them up in every building around Major League Baseball. It's a video recording device, and that's basically gauging the speed of the umpires moving from spot to spot, going to rotate and things like that.
Speed of a guy running to first base.
Yep. How fast this ball gets out to Markakis, who caught it, I believe. Yes, he did. Boy, the way he looked down, I wondered if it had popped out of his glove.
And that's that David Buchanan, who has a patent on that line drive to right field. Talked to him around the cage the other day. He said, the swing of the year, your double off of Matt Harvey.
Forgot about that.
No, but you can see the reason why. He's a very good defender. Markakis comes in, makes a shoestring catch. Kind of protects that wrist. He doesn't roll over top of it.
Well, they've had some good defense in right field in Atlanta. Didn't Hayward win a Gold Glove? A couple of them.
Yep. And Revere's the batter. Revere 0 for 2. Shows bunt. Takes low. 1-0.
Pitch number 52 right there.
Yeah, both pitchers have minimized their pitch count tonight.
Well, Buchanan through 5 innings has thrown 52. Swing early, swing often, boys.
Three 3-0 count on Ben Revere. Something you don't see very often.
And he takes ball 4. Just his 3rd walk of the year. Brzezinski goes out to chat with Shelby Miller.
Isn't that pretty good? Didn't he get his 3rd walk last year, like in the middle of June or 1st of July?
It did take him a while to do it. Although talking to Rhino about it, Rhino was such a good hitter in his day. They want him to be aggressive. They don't want him to work walks. They want him to get a fastball and hit it. He said that basically not in his DNA to
He's going to get a fastball.
Counts.
I mean, he's going to get a fastball. It's hard to walk a lot of times when pitchers are going to be aggressive, knowing that you don't have that great power. Now, we've seen him turn on some fastballs, but
you know, and when he hits the ball when he swings, he's got the knack to make contact. He puts it in play when he swings at it. He doesn't get to a lot of 3-ball counts.
See if Revere tests the arm of A.J. Brzezinski here. Brzezinski 1 for 8 throwing runners out so far this season. 13%.
Well, with these two guys 1-2 in the batting order, both being right, really creates some havoc for the opposition.
Revere goes, and Brzezinski can't hold on to the ball. I don't even think he had a chance to get him anyway. He had a pretty good jump. 5th stolen base of the year for Ben Revere.
And that's the great thing about having Herrera hitting second, Ben hitting first, or vice versa. You got 2 leadoff hitters. I mean, Ben had a tremendous jump right there, and AJ came up and he had no chance of throwing him out at second base.
That's 150 stolen bases now in the career of Ben Revere with that one right there. He has 5 this year. He'd like to have a little. He'd like to reach 50 and go beyond 50 this year.
Just think about Ben sliding head first on those steals. We were talking about it last night. It's a lot of wear and tear, a lot of risk in your hands and fingers. I don't think Lou Brock ever go head first.
I don't think he ever went head first.
Ricky Henderson?
I don't think he never went feet first.
Yeah, Ricky always went head first.
Ricky always went head first.
Maury Wills always went feet first too.
If I went head first, I would stop.
I would
have no momentum. It would just be ugly. If I went head first, I would have to call a trainer real quick. Pretty good chance my heels would flip back over and probably kick myself in the head.
Tell you one thing, your pitch count discussion definitely fanged Miller.
That's good. Let's keep it going. Although he's only had 60 pitches in 5 innings, that's still pretty good.
He's a fun guy to watch hit, isn't he?
He's always moving.
Yeah, he is.
Matt, you think this hitting style stand the test of time?
I think if you get to a guy that can throw better off-speed pitches for strikes, throw the fastball and speed him up a little bit, flip in some curveballs. But so far, it seems like he's been able to make the adjustment from bat up to at bat.
Pretty much has hit everywhere that he's been.
He'll be retired on that chopper out to second base. The Phils leave one in scoring position. We've played 5 innings here in Philadelphia. Ben Revere has a stolen base. Has to fix his jersey as we go to the 6th. The week is new to the rotation, but in no way new to reaching success on the mound. The durable right-hander has been just that for his new team and has been efficiently strong in all 4 starts. Aaron has posted an ERA of 1.37. Opponents are hitting under 200, and he has set a career high, tossing 8 straight quality starts going back to last season. Harang's edition has been a good one, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, his edition has been a good one, and he pitched very well in last night's ballgame. Received a no decision. I think he's exceeded the expectations for the Phils. 8 consecutive quality starts dating back to last year. As Eric Young chops one right at Ryan Howard. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the 6th. Shelby Miller's coming up. Let's check in with Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Well, as you mentioned earlier, it is Science Night here at the Phillies, part of the 5th annual Philadelphia Science Festival, which started today. We had more than a dozen interactive exhibits up and down the concourse level by the first and left field grades, everything from growing some grass to some sugary drinks. And anyone who completed 5 activities at some of those booths, we're going to get a water bottle, which was sponsored by Dow, who helped sponsor the entire night. So it was a great night. The hashtag GetNerdyPHL was all over Twitter tonight because of a great night here at the ballpark. And your turkey friend was there as well, Tom.
Did you find out why the turkey was here?
No, the turkey left before I could ask him. So
there's the turkey.
There he is. GetNerdyPHL, guys.
I think we could all do that. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Shelby Miller. Miller struck out his first time up. Did he go? No. Galvis. Whoop, whoop. Just barely got him. He had a little trouble getting that ball out of his glove.
Freddie been playing a nice shortstop. A couple of great plays in last night's game.
Does he bobble it right here a little bit?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
In baseball, an amazing game. Just a little tiny bobble, and you make up for it with a good throw. Pitcher is not a real fast runner, but boom, boom.
Yep.
Just got him.
I think what's been interesting watching Freddie, I think, is how much he moves around from batter to batter. You know, the Phillies scouting reports kind of dictate that a little bit, but he covers a lot of ground, so they have the freedom of moving him, let's say, over toward the hole, or straight away where he is now, or shaded toward the middle a little bit. And he can still get to those other spots if need be. Not many better than the guy on the right there at that shortstop position. 2 balls and 1 strike to Markakis. He's also mentored a lot of guys too that have come up through the different systems, whether it be the Yankees or the Mariners.
Yeah, he spends countless hours with the guys in spring training early in the morning.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Markakis. He's 0 for 1. Flied out to center his first time, walked his last time. And he grounds that foul.
Made every routine play when we played. It wasn't flashy. Man, he made every play. You hit it to shortstop, you were out. If he had any weakness, his nervousness on pop-ups. He caught them all. He just looked like he didn't like them. His hands were shaking.
Line drive.
Oh, my
picked on
gosh.
one hop by Galvis. Throws to first, and it's in time. Play of the year. Wow. Freddie Galvis.
He might have hurt himself.
He went down on his arm. The out is recorded, and somehow as he threw that ball, he landed awkwardly and hurt himself. That was a magnificent play by Freddie Galvis.
Yeah, he might have hurt his shoulder. Hope not.
He just said my shoulder.
One time I dove for a ball at third base behind the bag and landed under, with my left arm extended, where I caught the ball and it knocked my arm out of socket. Watch. Boom, right there. See? His left shoulder got kind of pushed up a little bit when he landed. His left shoulder, watch. Boom, right there. That's a real stress on that shoulder right there.
He was still able to make that throw and get the out. The inning is over as they check him out. the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. And by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Well, they must have coordinated coming to the ballpark tonight. You going to wear your Schmidt jersey? Yeah, I'm going to wear my Schmidt jersey. Do you mind if I wear it? No, that's fine.
That's good camera work right there.
Got the Liberty Bell logo on it on the left sleeve.
Oh, what a play that was to end that last inning. Golly, there's Freddie.
Well, that's a good sign that he's in the dugout.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's not as bad as we thought. I hope it didn't knock it out of socket.
Utley grounds one to second base.
Mine was out for 19 minutes. I remember Don Seeger telling me he carried my arm. It wasn't in socket, so it was down Jack Russell Stadium in spring training. 72 actually. The first week of 73, I had to stay in rehab down in Clearwater. They carried me into the locker room. They carried my arm. Because it wasn't in socket, and they had to roll it right back in. And they had to roll it back into socket, and it was basically the exact same kind of dive that Freddie just did.
How did that feel when they popped it back into the socket?
Oh, well, I mean,
relief.
it was quite painful when it was out. That's why I was worried about Freddie right there when I saw that.
Brzezinski will give this a look, and it's out of play. Oh, nice catch! Play. Wow, hey youngster, what a play!
We're seeing some great fan plays here at the park this year. Still marvel at the guy that was walking around.
Oh yeah.
Oh, down here?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't catch it. Boy, he sold it well. It looked like he caught it. Well, good effort anyway. He's still a heck of a kid. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jeff Francoeur. He doubled and scored on the home run by Howard. It was back in the 4th inning. And a called strike 3. Well, Freddie's provided us with our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Well, we'll describe it again. We were just talking about Freddie's great defense at shortstop. What a play. You're going to see this a lot of times over the next couple of days. Diving stop. Has a wherewithal to kind of like, well, where's first base? Oh, there it is. And let's not forget Ryan Howard picking that thing. That was a tough pick at first base. And Ryan Howard, who's having a great offensive night, made a great defensive play there. And he's coming to the plate.
Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
And that's the best thing of all, to see Freddie still in the dugout.
Yeah. He's talking to Cesar Hernandez right now. He was telling people as he was looking back that it was his shoulder, that it was sort of his pec that was what hurt. I think at this point we can assume he's going back out there to shortstop if he's in the dugout. 1-1 to Ryan Howard. He's provided the only offense tonight. 2-run home run into the bushes in center.
See the difference right there in the height of the pitch that he swings at. He's lethal on the ball down around the shins and the knees, but as soon as it gets up around the waist area, it's hard for him.
Pulls that one, caught by Freddie Freeman over at first base, and the side is retired. He's never going to talk to him again. 1, 2, 3.
He actually was just screaming at him.
We'll go to the top of the 7th, and Freddie Galvis goes back to work. defensively for the Phils, his second home run of the year. Scored Jeff Francoeur. Well, that was a long one, 425 feet. The Phillies take a 2-0 lead. That's the lead they have right now. As we take a look at your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Braves committed another error. They have 5 errors in the last 2 games. Shelby Miller's been good, but David Buchanan's been a little bit better. 1 hit so far, 3 strikeouts over 6 innings of work. So we go to the 7th. And Andrelton Simmons will start things off. He's 0 for 2. And that one is lined out toward left center field, and it's not going to come back. Solo home run. The Braves are on the board. It's a 2-1 ball game. First home run of the year for Simmons. Matt, what were you saying? That's his first extra base hit.
That was in the 2-hole this year. The 2-hole hitters. They've had 8 hits all year, 8 singles.
Well, that's why Freddie Gonzalez wanted to adjust his lineup, because he didn't like what the average was for the leadoff batter and for the 2-hole.
Yeah, this is a pitch right here David Buchanan would like to have back. Fastball up in the zone, came in a little flat, missed the spot, and that's why it's the first home run of the year for Simmons. Right over the W.B. Mason.
Freddie Freeman now the hitter. He's 0 for 2, and Freeman takes strike 1.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do about that. I mean, Buchanan's got to throw strike 1. He got a 2-0 lead. Boom. If he can hit it out of the park, more power to him. More than anything now, it's how you bounce back after that. How Buchanan bounces back after the home run.
One is pulled out toward right center field. Herrera has room, and about 3 steps in front of the 398 side makes the catch. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank.
They made Freeman hit it to the right part of the ballpark. Right
sure
there.
Did. A.J. Pierzynski now the hitter. He's 0 for 2. He's flied to center and to left. Way out in front. Oof.
Well, that's a good pitch. You know, I'm sure Chooch is well aware that for some reason the Atlanta Braves want to get this game over quick. They're doing a lot of first pitch swinging. He chose a changeup right there. Sometimes you got to pitch a little backwards.
Lays off, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned that David Buchanan was born in Atlanta, grew up in Peachtree City, Georgia. It's the golf cart capital of the world. Tons of golf carts just roaming around the town. People just driving golf carts. Anyway, I grew up a Braves fan.
Wait, how would you know that?
Good stories about it. You can Google
Sounds
Peachtree
like
City, Georgia. Out to center field, and it's right at Herrera. And there are 2 outs. When David came up last year, we kind of joked with him about it. He said, "Oh yeah, there's golf carts everywhere." But he grew up going to Braves games, so getting a chance to pitch against them last year was a big thrill. I'm sure that there's a lot of folks in Peachtree City that are watching tonight.
Back to baseball, Matt. I'd like to pitch to Johnny Gomes. Jeez. He didn't give you a lot of area to throw the ball to, does he?
No, he doesn't, and he's a very aggressive hitter. Good friend of mine. He's a character. Let's just leave it at that.
He looks like I don't know the guy at all, but he just looks like somebody you'd really like to have on your team.
Love it. A quick story, and I know there's 2 outs. A couple years ago in Kansas City, hits the ball 399 feet.
Stays in the yard.
Stays in the yard. Goes in the weight room. After that at bat, and I hear the music going in the weight room. I'm like, I walked by. and he's with Tampa Bay. He's in there doing curls. He says all I need is 5 more feet. His next 3 at bats, 3 home runs. 3 for 4.
Oh, was that his first at bat?
That was his first at bat. After his first at bat, he's in there getting his arms bigger.
At the D's, 2-2. Well, moral of the story is the next day, I hope you didn't let him use the weight room.
He's bigger. He can do whatever he wants. No, actually, it was a Sunday. They left.
Well, they say he's been a great influence on the clubhouse, which is what they were trying to do, was change the environment and the personalities in that clubhouse.
Well, teams seem to win wherever he goes. Wasn't he on the Red Sox World Championship team?
He was.
He's on the Rays when they started to make their run. Spins this one back in front of us.
Now, you have never gotten the ball up here?
We've had one. Basically just hit in front of the telestrator and shot back out. They've had others, but one while we've been up here.
But I know where you've gotten the ball.
There's ball 4. Follow the Phillies all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. You can see that play that Freddie Galvis just made on the last inning with that app. You can see that home run we were talking about with Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton, I should say. Kelly Johnson takes high. There is a lefty warming up, Jake Diekman. Well, I shouldn't say there is a lefty because he's the only lefty, but Jake Diekman is warming up in the bullpen for the Phillies.
Who needs to pitch? Diekman needs to get into a game and throw a couple innings here. Maybe not necessarily today, but he hasn't pitched a whole lot this year. And being the only lefty in the bullpen, you got to pick your areas when you bring him in.
3-0. We got 3-0 green light, 3 balls and 1 strike to Kelly Johnson.
Well, that could help out. That was ball 4 off the plate inside.
Takes inside, so back-to-back walks. That may be it for David Buchanan. We'll see. Ryan Sandberg looks like he's thinking about it. Asking Bob McClure.
If that's a hit for him, then Robbie Peterson's going to be done as well. And Chris Johnson.
Yeah, Jace Peterson is due up, left-handed batter. Ryan Sandberg's heading out, and he's going to go to Jake Diekman. And Buchanan not happy. 87 pitches, but he did just walk the last 2 batters after allowing a leadoff home run, which snapped a career-long 153 batters faced without a home run. And Drelton Simmons ended that string. David Buchanan's night is done. They've got a pitching change here at Philadelphia with the Phils up 2-1. Phillies take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. All fans coming to the ballpark will receive that hat right there. Compliments of the folks at Teva. Order your tickets by going to Phillies.com. You can also check out what the Phils have planned for Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night. Well, Jake Diekman takes over for David Buchanan. 9th ball game for Diekman. And Matt, you were right. Instead of Jace Peterson, it will be Chris Johnson who will pinch hit. Well, David Buchanan tried to plead his case to stay in after walking the last 2 hitters. He's responsible for those 2 batters. He leaves with a 2-1 lead. Diekman delivers on the inside corner. This is, look at, one more guy. One more Rhino. One more. He couldn't convince him. Breaking ball 0-2.
You know, you have matchups as a manager that you're weighing which is the better one for us, and it would have been Buchanan versus Jace Peterson or Diekman versus Johnson.
Yep.
And that's a tough one, Matt.
It is, and I understand he wants to stay on for one more hitter, but he just walked 2 in a row. Bottom line is he did have a chance for one more hitter, and he walked the guy, and he had a chance for one more hitter, and he walked, Gomes and Johnson. So
still a good night for him, though, to bounce back after those first 3.
Very good night.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Johnson. Back toward the middle, over the mound into center field. Rounding third, heading for home is Gomes. Here's the throw by Herrera. It's going to be cut off by Howard, and we're tied up at 2. That is the 8th hit in 21 at-bats for right-handers against Jake Diekman this year. So that run is charged to the line of David Buchanan. And we'll have first and second with 2 men down after that pinch hit single.
Well, that's pretty good hitting right there with 2 strikes against Diekman, who's not necessarily a left-handed specialist. I mean, that's not a bad pitch. Ball's down. He just picked it right off the ground, shot it right back up the middle. Matt stayed straight away with 2 strikes. And I kind of brought, was thinking about, I mean, hindsight's 20/20 in our game,
right.
And everybody's going, "Oh, why'd you take him out? Why'd you take him out?" Kelly Johnson down there led the league in hitting, didn't he, a couple years ago?
Yeah, Chris Johnson.
Not Kelly Johnson.
Yeah,
Chris Johnson.
Yeah, it came second 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
The ball's 1 strike to Eric Young. And he pulls that one to left field. That's going to be in for a base hit. It's going to go to the wall. 1 run is in. Going to third, and being held there is Chris Johnson. And the Braves take the lead. It's a 3-2 ball game. Well, again, the right-handers have been a problem for Jake Diekman this year. That'll close the book on David Buchanan's night. He's charged with 3 earned runs.
Looks like a slider down.
Well, it's a sort of a backdoor slider that ended up right over the middle of the plate. Sometimes you get away with those, sometimes you don't.
Here's Phil Gosselin. Gosselin out of Malvern Prep here in the Philadelphia area. Somewhere Ben Davis is saying that's right. 1 ball and no strikes to Gosselin. Hitting 143. He's 2 for 14. He has Chris Johnson at third. And Eric Young at second base. The Braves have scored 3 runs here in the 7th. Inside 2-0.
Watch this pitch right here. First base open. 2-0.
Helped him out there a little bit. 2-1. And a called strike 3 on the inside corner. The inning finally comes to a close. 3 runs, though, score for the Braves. It began with the home run by Simmons, couple walks by David Buchanan, and the Braves take a 3-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Work a little magic against the Braves bullpen as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Clocking in at 70 pages per minute, the HP OfficeJet Pro X is the perfect addition to your starting lineup, and now 50% off. Get yours today from who but WB Mason. Kelly Johnson moves over to second base for the Braves. Staying in the ball game to play third is Chris Johnson, and on the mound is right-hander Cody Martin. He's been good for Atlanta. 1-0 with an ERA of 1.69. He takes over for Shelby Miller, who's in line for the victory if the Braves bullpen can hold it.
Well, one good thing here, guys, is we don't have to go through Craig Kimbrell.
That is very true. Jason Grilli is the closer for the Atlanta Braves.
So we won't get to them for a couple more innings, and hopefully we'll have the lead before the 9th inning.
Cody's 0 for 2 in tonight's ball game. And he loops that one out towards center, and Eric Young is there to make the catch. One away. Now with one out, Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Well, we should remind folks, a big day here at the ballpark tomorrow. It is the Fanatic's birthday, brought to you by Citizens Bank, and I know that the Fanatic is very excited about it as everyone gears up to celebrate his birthday again. And it brings us to our Coors Light cold hard fact on this evening. On this date, 1978, the Philly Fanatic made his debut at the Vet in a game versus the Cubs. He's been recognized by Forbes magazine as the #1 mascot in all of sports in 2008 and 2011.
There's a liner out toward left field. Gomes going back. It's over his head. A one hop off the wall. Ruiz thinking 2. The throw by Gomes. It is in time. Wow. That was a really good throw by Johnny Gomes. Carlos thinks he's safe.
Carlos wants him to review that one.
He's not even moving.
A couple of things here. We talked about Carlos's last at bat, how we'd like to see him be more aggressive. Because he's had, here's a replay right there. Whoa, it looks like he might have. Oh, that's going to be a tough one.
That's going to be a tough one. It looked like he got toward the corner of the bag before the tag.
Sufficient evidence? That's a heck of a tag, too, by the way, you know.
I think the last shot is more definitive than this one, guys. I don't know what you think. Right?
Took the front toe.
There. You can see the compression of the spike. But I think the other one that we saw was a pretty good view. They're showing it up on Fanavision as Brian Gorman, the crew chief, and Trip Gibson, the second base umpire, take a look and listen to the folks in New York. Hey, this is worth a review by any stretch of the imagination. This is worth the review.
No question. But I didn't know they put it on the on Fanavision.
They're allowed to put it up.
They're supposed to, aren't they?
Yeah, they're allowed to put it up. So what the umpires up in New York are seeing, the fans are seing, and we're seeing. Here's another look. Watch his foot.
Why don't they just let the fans determine by applause or something? Huh? Right?
There's another look, a different angle.
Scream if you think he's safe.
I think his foot got in there.
Well, by the way, that's a heck of a throw by Gomes. A great tag. Who was it that made the tag there?
Kelly Johnson.
Kelly Johnson. Great catch and tag. Great hustle by Chooch, who ambushed that first pitch.
Yep.
That was good to see.
All right, here we go. Here's the call. He is out.
Wow. Must not have been sufficient evidence. I mean, you know, you're splitting hairs there.
I would agree with you on that. To our look, it looked like his toe was, the front of his foot may have gotten in there. The compression of it looked like it may have gotten in there. Well, they say call stands, so they're not 100% sure, but they're going to go with the call that was made on the field. If they were 100% sure, they would say it was confirmed.
Man, you don't see a ball that hit that far and that high. I mean, it was kind of a semi-line drive, fly ball off the left field wall. You don't see a guy get thrown out the second off of that.
And when you do, it's usually catchers. Unfortunately.
Back toward the middle, and Simmons behind the bag has got it. And Galvis is retired. So the Phillies go down quietly here in the 7th inning. Johnny Gomes was a big reason why. We'll go to the 8th with the Braves on top by 1. Exciting lineup ever. ShopNissan.com and buy McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's. I'm loving it. Some of the many things you can get here at Citizens Bank Park are some of the authentics, like a Larry Boa signed bat or baseball, or a Mike Schmidt signed bat or baseball. Mike with a...
Well, you can't tell that... well, never mind.
Okay.
What do you call Jeff? A producer or a director?
Producer. Yeah, producer. Nick Marquette is directing tonight.
Right. Jeff said, whispered something in my ear out there, folks, and I started to speak to him, and I'm not allowed to do that.
No. You have to press the button.
Be secret what he said.
You have to press the button. Some of the stuff he says you can put out over the air.
You do.
I do. No balls and 1 strike to Markakis. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Commenting on my mustache on that last promo you did there, which is somewhat white now. You can see it.
Aged gracefully, Schmidt.
Oh, yeah.
Say somewhat.
Over to the middle. Utley slides, has it, throws, not in time.
We're seeing some ranging middle infielders tonight. Nice play by Chase. I don't really think he had a chance at all.
So an infield hit for Markakis. And Simmons, who homered to start the 7th inning, will be the batter.
Well, Chase goes a long way to his right, makes a very nice play, and I agree, Schmidt, if he would have come up cleanly, he still wouldn't have been able to throw him out, but very nice. Good defense, good range today by the infielders.
Simmons takes way outside, 1 ball, no strikes. This is what he did to start the 7th inning against David Buchanan.
First pitch fastball up in the zone, and he's got good power and a nice swing. Drives out of the ballpark for his first home run of the year.
Guys, this is probably an obvious statement, but the Phillies have to figure out what's going on with Jake Diekman. They've got to get him right against righties and lefties.
I'm thinking the same thing, Tommy. I'm looking around. You guys know where I was looking for the pitch speed.
Fly ball to left field. Ben Revere.
Matt might know better, than I, but I was looking for the pitch speed. There it is, 88. And that probably was an off-speed pitch, but I kind of, you kind of look at this fastball pitch speed. Sometimes that tells the tale with a pitcher.
His velocities, I mean, it hasn't been 100 like it was last year from time to time, or 101, but it's been up there.
I mean, he's slightly over a hit per inning pitched, I believe, which is unusual.
Freddie Freeman's the batter. See that slider. He's at 85, taken down low and away. Now, lefties, he's been fine against. In fact, that hit by Markakis is one of few. 2 balls and no strikes. It's the righties that he's had trouble with.
Yeah, that's another thing right there. See, when you're not, for some reason, they're hitting your fastball, getting some knocks on it, you start to shy away from it a little bit. And you don't want to try to spot an inside fastball against Freeman or going after him with 2 sliders.
That one's hit sharply, and Ryan Howard will have a play at first, and that's it. To second base goes Markakis, 3 unassisted. Well, I think everybody that saw Jake Diekman and Ken Giles, that combination last year, and obviously Papelbon too, but that combination, I mean, they were fun to watch. I mean, it was worth the price of admission when the Phillies had a lead to watch those 2 guys go to work. A.J. Pierzynski, who's 0 for 3. He's flied out 3 times.
Yeah, there you go, 94 with some serious sink.
Jake Diekman's always been a 2-pitch pitcher. Now he's throwing a changeup. So now he's a 3-pitch pitcher.
Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. 1 ball, 1 strike to Pierzynski. And he floats that one out to center field, a base hit. Rounding third, heading for home is Markakis, and there won't be a throw. It's now 4-2 Atlanta.
Wow, that's a big run right there. Big 2-out RBI Pierzynski. He's been a pretty hot hitter for Atlanta this year.
Yeah, 8 for 20 on this road trip coming into this ballgame.
Just about to say he was pitching him like, the old Jake Diekman right there. Pierzynski just reaches out, kind of like centers the ball. Didn't even really take a full swing at it.
Well, Ryan Sandberg is out to the home plate umpire, so this will be a double switch. Luis Garcia was warming up in the bullpen for the Phillies, so he's going to come in for Jake Diekman. So pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. We'll also have a new position player. We'll tell you about that when we return. Andrew Winger and Mo Adu is mic'd up at Yankee Stadium. Watch State of the Union tonight at 11 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Luis Garcia comes into the ball game to take over for Jake Diekman. Diekman is charged with 1 run and 4 hits. In fact, he's given up his first 2 hits to left-handed batters on the season in this ball game. So now Garcia's on to face Johnny Gomes. Gomes is 1 for 2. He was in the middle of the rally in the 7th inning with a walk, and he takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Strange defensive alignment here, Matt. They're playing Hernandez really playing in the pull.
The middle of the infield is basically wide open for Johnny Gomes. Freddie Gonzalez said last night's ball game for the Braves, he thought that was an aberration defensively. Now they made an error tonight, but he said that's not who we are. We need to play a little crisper, not only offensively but defensively. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gomes with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. And he loops that one to right field. It's going to drop in front of Francoeur for a hit. And Przinsky stops at second. So second hit of the evening for Johnny Gomes, and it will bring Kelly Johnson to the plate.
Well, Gomes has been a big factor in this ball game. He doubled early to break up the no-hitter, pokes that single right there to right field, keep this inning alive, and threw out Carlos Ruiz at second base, who was the tying run last inning.
And started the rally in the 7th inning with a 2-out walk.
Yeah. So he's been on base his last 3 times up. Good play by Ruiz. Wicked slider, and he was able to get down and block it. Chris Johnson is on deck. He has a pivotal hit in this ball game. Must have been a little inside, and it's now 2 balls and 1 strike. Ian Thomas is the left-hander, and Jim Johnson is the right-hander warming up.
Sure, we'll see the left-hander with that Cesar Hernandez, and then 3 straight left-handers coming up for us.
Kelly Johnson into the right center field gap. A run will score. Brzezinski crosses the plate, so 2 more score here in the 8th. It's now 5-2 Braves.
Game's taking a quick turnaround
It
here.
sure has.
Big 2-out hits by the Braves.
And 1st and 3rd for Chris Johnson. Yeah, so 4 of the 5 runs that have scored have come with 2 outs for the Atlanta Braves. In the 7th inning, and now here in the 8th inning.
Game's amazing when you're just breezing through so quickly.
Yeah.
Buchanan early, a couple of walks, then a couple of big knocks. They say hitting's contagious.
Up high, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Jake Diekman's line, 1 inning, 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned. No walks and 1 strikeout.
Man, this guy's an interesting hitter. You mentioned he almost led the league in hitting. Was it last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. It's amazing. He stands right up close to the plate. He really covers the ball. You know what I mean? He right center field hitter, pulls the off-speed stuff.
I find he keeps the barrel through the zone a long time.
He's got really good mechanics, I think. I mean, he's not a home run hitter by any means, even for a big guy, but now it's funny, he survived this whole retooling.
Yeah, he did. He was kind of a throw-in in the Justin Upton deal when he came from Arizona originally. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chris Johnson. Runners on 1st and 3rd. And he got him with a slider that was up a little bit. Side is retired, but 2 more runs score for the Braves. They've turned things around here as we go to the bottom of the 8th. They have a 5-2 lead. special group opportunities, including discounts, theme nights, party areas, and much more. No matter what size group, there are always benefits and special options. For more information, check out Phillies.com/group tickets. Jim Johnson is the new pitcher for the Braves as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 5.19 ERA. They've made some other changes too. Out in the outfield, in left field, Eric Young moves from center field over to left field, and Cameron Maybin is the new center fielder. Maybin will bat 9th in the lineup for the Braves. Cesar Hernandez leads it off. It takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Some kind of outfield alignment here. I think Eric Young's 20 feet from being out of bounds over in left field. Foul territory.
Yeah, we saw that last night for the first time against Ben Revere. It's kind of it's much different than what we normally see against the Phillies left-handers. It means that if there's a ball in the gap in left center or right center field, they got some room to run. Right center is a surefire triple that gets out toward the Turkey Hill side. That one's pulled through the middle, a base hit. Well, that was a nice swing right there.
Maybe we get something going here. Nice stroke by Cesar Hernandez. Boom, hands back through the ball. Very nice.
I like how early he gets his foot down. He gets his foot down early, recognizes the pitch, and just reacts to it. He's been swinging the bat well so far this season.
He has average at 261. Ben Revere is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Walked his last time up. He's now 3 for 18 on the homestand. I mentioned statistically that April is usually his worst month average wise, and then he's close to a 300 hitter after the month of April. I think he read that one at all.
That was a tough pitch. It was almost like a screwball, wasn't it?
93.
A left-hander slider from a right-handed pitcher.
Broken bat, line drive, base hit it to center field. That means the tying run is coming to the plate. Back-to-back singles to start the bottom of the 8th inning.
And both with 2 strikes.
That's right. But contact, the importance of contact, anything can happen to put the ball in play. Good base running by Cesar there. He had to freeze. Hernandez had to freeze, see him there in that picture, make sure the ball wasn't caught.
There's Roger McDowell. The Braves decided to go with Jim Johnson instead of Ian Thomas with the lefties coming up. Now Thomas is going to start to warm up again. It probably won't take him too long to get rolling. And part of that is because Chase Utley's in the on-deck circle. Yes, you have Francoeur, but then Ryan Howard and Cody Ashley are up after that. Odubel Herrera with nobody out, runners on first and second.
What I like about Hernandez's hit and Ben's hit was they hit it back up the middle, both with 2 strikes. It means they sit back a little longer, recognize the pitch, and use the big part of the field.
One and one, Odubel. Hector Neris is warming up in the pen now for the Phils. Phillies can mount something here that may change. Liner out to right field, and it's caught by Markakis. And back to second base goes Hernandez. Back to first goes Ben Revere. Boy, he hit that ball right on the nose.
Amazing. The ball as hard as you can hit the ball. But there's Ben Revere on first base with a broken bat base hit. So, what are you going to do?
Nothing. Don't change the swing or nothing.
No.
That's a fastball down and in. Just tough luck right there.
Well, Utley tonight is 0 for 3. He's popped out, he struck out looking, and he's grounded out to second.
You know, this pitcher must have some success against left-handed hitters, because you wouldn't see, you know, leaving a right-hander in to pitch to Chase Utley in this situation very often. You probably wouldn't for sure if Ryan Howard was hitting cleanup behind him. You probably would see the left-hander right now.
What do you think, Matt? Is it the splitter that offsets everybody? Out to center field. Maven's there. And there are 2 outs.
I think it's more of his movement with his fastball. He gets really late movement with his fastball, gets some ground balls. You think you're going to square it up, and it just moves out of the strike zone last second. Now, this is a fastball. It starts middle of the plate, and it just darts down away. You have good movement, you're down in the zone. That's kind of like an equalizer for split finger or whatever it is, as long as you have that downhill movement.
Well, there's Ian Thomas. Figure he'll come in if for some reason the Braves lose Francoeur here. With Ryan Howard on deck, Cody Ashley behind him. 2 outs and the pitch in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Jim Johnson was a very successful closer with the Baltimore Orioles. And the Braves, before they traded Kimbrel, had 3 guys that could close games between Johnson, Grilli, and of course Kimbrel, who was the best of the 3. Over toward third, Chris Johnson has got it, and the side is retired. So the Phils get a couple of base runners to start the 8th inning, but cannot score. We go to the 9th inning here in Philadelphia with the Braves on top 5-2. Matt, there was a point where we thought we were going to be talking about Ryan Howard's home run.
Yeah, it all happened in the 7th inning. Simmons lead off a home run, his first of the year. And Buchanan first pitch high fastball. Then Johnson comes out with the bases up the middle off Diekman, which ties the game. Nice piece of hitting like Mike Schmidt earlier, but hit the ball back up the middle. Then EY comes up, gets a double on a slider down in the corner to put the go-ahead run. And really, that's what the WB Mason deliveries of the game are right there.
11 inherited runners allowed to score for the Phillies bullpen so far this year. Hector Neris will take over as we start the top of the 9th inning. And his charge is to try to keep this to the 3-run deficit. And he will face Eric Young. And then Cameron Maben. See the Braves offense. 1 hit first 6 innings. 7 hits the last 2. Heck, think about what they did last night. They only had 2 hits through 9 innings. One ball, no strikes to Eric Young. Two and 0. He made the team out of spring training because he had 24 hits in spring training. He was one of the hotter hitters in the Braves lineup. Ball 4. He walks him on 4 pitches. And now Maben will bat for the first time.
I go back to that Diekman issue. It is real unusual in this day and age to see one lefty in the bullpen. I just wondered if the one left-hander affects when and where you use Jake. He does. He's very proficient normally in getting right-handed hitters out as well.
Yeah, the Phillies had a lot of left-handers who were in spring training. Of course, Andy Oliver, Rule 5 draft pick, is now with the Tampa Bay Rays. Elvis Arrojo, who's in AA with Reading. Rodriguez, who they got from the Pirates, who is in AAA with Lehigh Valley. As Maben takes a strike, it's 0-1. Of course, Cesar Jimenez, who was with the team to start the year. But I would think it does affect the manager's decisions. When you only have one left-hander, where you can face, where you can put him.
Well, it'd have to, and I think it affects Diekman because he's so used to pitching a lot more.
Broken bat fly ball right center field. Frank Court comes in. Can he throw out Eric Young Jr.? He can. Ryan Howard dropped the ball. But the first base umpire, or second base umpire, Trip Gibson, I'm not sure if he saw it.
Yeah, this is going to be overturned.
Now the umpires will meet. They don't have to review it. They can just meet and talk about it.
I can't wait to see this replay. I want to show you a couple of really neat things that happened here that a lot of people won't see. And Ryan, Ryan said had to do some stretching over there tonight. Watch Utley. Watch Utley. Boom. Watch Utley in the shortstop. See him fake the double play? The base runner thinks they're turning the double play, so they keep him hanging around the bag at second. Actually, Frank Court could have gathered himself and made a better throw. Yeah. He didn't have to really throw on the run.
Well, the umpires have just talked about it. They said that he did drop it, so that's the right call. Eric Young is still at first.
But for the fans out there watching, and show the replay again, what's automatic for on the hit and run play for the middle infielders to do is simulate turning a double play. They'll scream, turn it, give it to me. Just something so the base runner, if he's watching the middle infielders, will think the ball was hit on the ground in the infield.
I like when Utley was pointing over toward third or to left field, and Eric Young was looking around, and he finally realized it.
I'll show it to you again. It was kind of a neat thing, really. See, they're screaming, double play, and the runner is supposed to actually watch the batter to see where the ball's hit. If he didn't look back, he'll assume there's a double play being turned. That's fun. That's a fun thing to do in the infield. Everybody, you know, when we used to do it, everybody bends down like actually the runner a lot of times will look at the coach, and when he's looking to the left at the third base coach, he sees me or the third baseman. If the third baseman acts like he's catching a ground ball, I've had him slide into second.
That's why I think it was a running hit. Straight still, go ahead and swing it if it's a strike.
In there for a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike to Nick Markakis, who is 1 for 3. Runner goes, pitch is taken low, throw to second base by Ruiz. He really had no chance.
No, he had no chance.
Combination of the pitch and the jump. And that's the 3rd stolen base without getting caught for Eric Young.
Well, Eric Young has an unbelievable jump, and that's where you kind of like to see. You know, Chooch had no chance of throwing him out at second base. As a pitcher, you'd like to see him hold it a little longer. Quick pitch. And just change up your look a little bit. Make him be a little antsy at first base.
Like that.
A liner out to right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Young will be held at third. Oh man, Francoeur lets it fly. They throw behind the runner, and he's out at first base. Markakis lingered a little too far.
Well, they're going to get away with that because of the score, unless the Phillies are able to mount a comeback in the 9th inning. That's very, very poor base running.
You know, this is pretty much, besides Frenchie missing the cutoff man right here, as a second baseman, you're taught to go in behind. You know, Ryan's the cutoff man. Now Chase comes in from behind, and that's the situation you want to do right there. But like you said, poor base running and sleeping right there, not realizing that your second baseman is coming in around and tag you from behind.
Chase completely obliterated any path to the bag. I mean, he put his leg down.
He'll do that. He'll put the knee down so you know you can't get your, especially when you're diving back, you're going to slide right into Utley's leg.
He had no chance to get to it.
Might as well have just kept going, right?
A high fly ball to center field. Herrera is under it. And the inning is over. So one last chance for the Phillies. As we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, Freddie Gonzalez's team is up by 3. He's going to bring his closer, Jason Grilli, in when we return. Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post-Game Live. Last chance for the Phils. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. You saw Ryan Howard taking some swings in the on-deck circle. He has a home run tonight. He's accounted for the 2 runs for the Phils. 48 career home runs against the Atlanta Braves. Jason Grilli is on to try to close this out. The veteran right-hander who resurrected his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this is what he has done this year compared to what Kimbrel has done for the Padres. 6 games for Grilli, 6 saves. 8 games for Kimbrel, 5 saves. So the theory was, all right, if the Braves aren't going to win, let's get rid of the cash from Melvin Upton and get some prospects back and let Grilli settle into that closer's role.
I bet if you look hard enough, you'll see Jason Grilli in the Phillies minor leagues or somewhere on his.
I think you will find him. It was interesting. He was with the Phillies in Lehigh Valley, and his old manager, Clint Hurdle in Pittsburgh, needed a relief pitcher, so he wound up going to Pittsburgh. He was freed up to go and really resurrected his career.
Well, if you want to talk about a sinker, Jason Grilli has a very good sinker, and he throws it hard.
Well, there it is, down and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
He's a 2-pitch pitcher. He tops out at 96 miles an hour and has a very good slider as well. Mainly a sinker ball pitcher versus left-handed hitters.
Howard fouls it away up to the upper deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. First 3 pitches have basically been around the same velocity, 94 or 95. And it's now 1-2. Cody Ashe's on deck. And a foul ball. He stays alive, and it remains 1-2.
Had a chance to be teammates with Jason Grilli with the Pirates organization. Great teammate. Also faced him quite a few times, and he played for the WBC Team Italy.
Oh, did he really?
Yep.
I had a chance to speak to him. I went down to the Phillies minor leagues several springs ago, and there he was standing in the group I was talking to.
Well, he gets Howard swinging on strikes, so there's 1 away. Yeah, you got to give him credit, eh? I mean, to be able to come back to the majors and throw this.
And his fastball is a sneaky fastball. You know, when he's down the zone, he gets more movement. But Smitty made out earlier about the comment with Ryan. Balls that are elevated a little bit, Ryan has a hard time to catch up to those.
Cody Ashe's now the batter. He's 0 for 3. He's flied out a couple times, grounded out. And he lifts that one to left field, right at Eric Young. The Phillies are down to their final out here in the 9th inning. Amazing this game, how it changed on a dime, isn't it?
Sure did. But I just think I need to make a point. I mean, I would think the right baseball moves here in the 9th inning if you want to try to tie this ball game up. Of course, Ryan did swing at a 1-0 pitch, and that ball was a strike that he swung at. But I mean, there used to be in the old days, you'd take a strike. Each hitter would take a strike, hoping that maybe the pitcher might walk somebody. And Cody's case right there, swung at the first pitch, down 3 runs in the 9th. I don't think that's good baseball.
Well, here's Carlos, who's 1 for 3, thrown out, trying to stretch a single into a double his last time up. Up and in, I should say. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, reminder, tomorrow we'll be back at it. Phils and the Braves finish up this 3-game series. Don't forget, coming up at 1 o'clock is the big Sunday show. Get you set for the Fanatic's birthday and the finale of this homestand. Carlos takes a strike, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Trevor Cahill against Jerome Williams. 5-2. Carlos stays alive and hits it foul back to the net.
It is amazing to come as far as he's come.
Really is.
You know, as become the quality reliever he has in the last 3 or 4 years.
And the way he's throwing, he's going to be able to find a job moving forward too, even beyond this year, as long as he stays healthy.
It's a good swing at that breaking ball by Ruiz right there. That's a good sign.
Away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, that's a tough pitch to hold up on if you're Carlos Ruiz.
She's going to put a tough at bat on him no matter what. I mean, it's just his nature. He's going to be a tough out no matter what the situation.
And a line drive caught by Simmons at shortstop, and the ball game is over. The Braves down 2-0, erase the deficit, score 5 unanswered runs, and they win it tonight 5-2 to take game 2 of this 3-game series. Johnny Gomes is our Chevrolet player of the game. 2 for 3, a double, a walk, a run scored, plus the solid defensive play out in left field to throw out Carlos Ruiz, trying to stretch a single into a double. Who knows how that inning would have unfolded if Ruiz would have gotten to second base with 1 man down. So the Braves even up the series. They win it 5-2 tonight over the Phillies. We'll be back to Citizens Bank Park in just a moment to wrap things up.